It was a fairly aggressive thing to do. The old post office pens with the nibs, and you could break the nibs off, and it was left with two incredibly sharp points and this long forward-weighted missile that you could throw, and they'd go into the board like that.
If you got caught for anything like that, the chances are you got the cane, and there was the long walk to the principal's office.
We had lots of marching, lots of phys ed. We called it physical culture. And we did lots of formation exercises, which I was quite good at, and I loved it. It wasn't quite a dance, and it wasn't really gym. It was a cross between those, lots of walking around in patterns and back again and marching, you know, lines through lines and all of that sort of thing. That was both in primary school and high school.
We did a lot of folk dancing and formation dancing, and that was just ghastly, particularly if you're dyslexic about your right hand and your left hand, as I was, and you're always doing the wrong thing. I was physically very self-conscious as a child. I think unless you were sort of the perfect girl, you felt very out of it.
When we were very young and we were trying to learn to speak English, and my brother was very unfortunate. Boys tend to pick on children who have unusual names, especially boys, and my brother had Renzo. And of course it was Rinso, Rinso, da-da-da-da. Yeah, it was very popular in those times. And we went to school together. My brother and I would stand back to back and fight them off until our accents disappeared, and then we were accepted. But at those times it was a bit rough.
I want you to do some pointing.
Acceptance for many was a long and humiliating road.
The ceiling. I'm pointing to the ceiling. That wall. I'm pointing to that wall. This wall. I'm pointing to this wall. Good. Branya, stand near the table.
I'm standing near the table.
She is standing near the table.
Over there in the distance, Christian, is the sea. And over here, stretching far beyond the horizon, is the Australian bush. Gum trees and shrubs, the sun and plenty of sky, the people that live there and all that goes with it. And that glorious feeling of being free. Wasn't it like that where you come from?
I can't remember much about my country, but it is beautiful here. I like it. I like your country.
Our country, Christine.
Our country.
It's a lovely day for playing in the park. The flowers are pretty too. Anthony doesn't stop to think whether he is allowed to pick the flowers. Anne thinks she would like some flowers too. But here comes Constable Brown. It's his job to prevent people from breaking the law. What if we all picked the flowers? There would soon be none left for people to enjoy, would there? Now run off and don't do it again. We must all obey the laws. Constable Brown, too. And now for lunch on the grass under the trees. Fresh fruit, crisp salad, and a cold drink.
Educational films gave advice about fruit and vegetables that our mothers tried desperately to enforce, but it was a losing battle. 50s food was monotonous, highly processed stuff. It resembled army rations with virtually no fibre, and it probably caused terrible constipation. This may be why we seem to be surrounded by a sea of laxative advertisements.
F-O-R-D, Ford pills. Keep you looking trim and healthy. Keep you really regular. Buy Ford pills.
Constant dessert was homemade ice cream, which was made out of condensed milk. And it sort of stuck to the top of your mouth, and it always came in 2 layers, the icy layer and the other layer that hadn't sort of got together with it, and preserved fruit.
It never tasted like the ice cream that you
It was
bought in the
nothing
shop.
like
It was
that.
nothing
No, it was
like
nothing
it.
like that.
And I always thought it was like that.
Because the ones you bought at the shop, you could get them, and they came in cardboard, the bricks.
Yes.
Cardboard, a brick of ice cream.
Oh, that's right. You feel the...
And for some reason, the layer of ice cream stuck on the cardboard would tasted much better. It was always a fight.
Street's ice cream is much creamier. The true family ice cream that gives an abundance of enjoyment and nourishment. Whether it's bricks or buckets, cones or slices, hearts or bats, or popular paddle pops, always ask for Street's ice cream, the cream of the coast.
Chicken was an incredibly expensive dish and something you could only afford at Christmas time. We used to look forward to it.
You had to order it, didn't you?
Frozen chickens is when it all changed. Yes, frozen chicken supermarkets and all that sort of stuff.
Chooks, I was always scared of chooks. There were the stories of Dad chopping off a chook's head and not making it, and the chook fluttering around the backyard with Dad retching in the corner of the backyard because he hadn't been able to kill the chook properly. So chooks were pretty yucky, horrible things as far as I was concerned.
I had 2 older brothers who used to do the killing for me, and they went off to school, and it was up to me. And I remember going down to the chook coop and sitting there for ages thinking they might be like snakes. You could have grabbed them by the legs, tipped them upside down, but they're not meant to be able to peck the hell out of you. I wasn't sure of this. I stayed there for ages. Finally got the courage to grab one, only grabbed one leg, and of course it did peck the hell out of me. It took another 2 hours and I had one down, and I had a little tomahawk. And what I should have done was strap the legs so they can't kick, and to hold the neck down and then just do a clean swipe. But I was holding for the legs, waiting until his head behaved and resting down. And just as I went whack, it looked straight up at me, and it went straight. We had this chook going, and I just dropped the whole thing and just sat breathing. And this chook's running around going.
I had a duck called Socrates, and we had this poor duck, and every night Mother, after dinner, Mother would scrape all the plates and say, here, take these out for Socrates. And then we ate Socrates, and at the end of the meal, the Mother automatically scraped it, said, here, take these out.
Congratulations on your achievement. Well done.
If you were a cardboard brownie, one of the big milestones in childhood happened when you graduated to Scouts or Guides. At camps, we lashed together endless gadgets from twigs and branches. Essentials for survival like shoe racks and other labour-saving devices.
We used to make big gateways just so we could latch the logs together. Oh, it was a great engineering feat. What sort of woggle did you have?
I just had ordinary leather woggle.
I had a braided plastic woggle, and I had a woggle that I made myself by drilling out one of those big gum nuts, and you could just slide the gum nut.
Oh, fantastic. Really? Can you remember any of those songs, those nonsense songs?
Yes, yes. Ging, gang,
Gooly, 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 white chilla, ging, gang, goo, ging, gang, goo, ging, gang, gooly, 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 white.
As Scouts and Guides, we performed lots of songs with nonsense lyrics and did it with actions. We were earnestly dedicated to good fun, involving man-sized boys in childlike games. Beneath the discipline of badges and uniforms, I always felt there was an unwillingness to grow up. Scout gatherings had a thing about patriotism. They were fun and exciting But looking back, they were a little bit like Nuremberg rallies.
Any old crow can wield a bow, but it takes a cocky to be his own disc jockey.
The big thing